Hello. So they're saying that businesses are replacing people with AI. Thousands are getting laid off and more are to come. Last video, we covered which of those jobs were getting laid off, who was getting axed. And now we're going to cover what businesses are actually replacing them with. So, what are people replacing or what are businesses replacing people with? What AIs are they using? And is it effective? How does that work? Let's dive into it. I've done the research to see who's spending the most money on AI right now in their business and what they're using. We're going to go over some of the top 10 tools that you can use if you are in business. Um, and this will really help you, whether you're employed or an employer, to discover what is actually being done. Some people are providing this research. It's not easy to find, so we're just going to get right into it. So, um, and I'll start with the story. So everyone says they're getting replaced by AI, right? But a couple companies tried it and they rolled it back. But I worked in San Francisco for 3 years, and I remember when every billboard actually turned to AI. It was actually before I knew about ChatGPT, and I had been working on my job for about 3 months, selling expensive cabinetry to expensive homes in expensive areas, expensive showrooms. And yeah, I remember my HR person said, "Hey, write a job description. Actually, just use AI, right?" And I didn't know before everyone was using ChatGPT at this time. Everyone in San Francisco, California, was the biggest user of ChatGPT, and so I started to drive. I drove back over the bridge every day from Oakland, and I started to see all of the um, every single one of the billboards said AI this, AI that, AI this and that. And so I had been back in like a year. I moved away from SF, but now I go back over and I'm seeing the same billboards, a little bit different, right? But it's a little more focused on developers, and it's focused on coders using AI. And so that's a hint. A big part of what AI is right now is coding, writing code, and we're going to go over the rest of it. uh, but you can imagine, right, that you have got you got a receptionist who, in the movies, right, they call her up and she's a robot, and she's like a hologram, right? And this they know everything. They can get you the codes. They can unlock the doors, right? That's kind of what you imagine going into your business with the AI. Is that's who it's going to be, right? So that's your person is replaced with a person robot that's essentially a person, right? Um, Here's what's actually happening, which and we talked about, but we'll go through it quickly. So, IT help desk, that is what we talked about that already, but you can do some calls, IT tickets, no humans in the loops, right? So these are just processes, right? Anything that needs to be ticked off. Code generation, so generating code, maybe not editing code, but Cursor, GitHub, Copilot, Claude Code. Senior devs are 50% faster. Junior dev pipeline is shrinking quietly. So you need the senior devs to refine the code, right? But to just generate a bunch of code, you do not have to type it anymore. That's not good for junior devs who used to have a job, but AI is coding really well. Document review, Harvey AI, case text, Bloomberg Law AI, Cliff Notes, right? So that's not one of them. The first 3 years of paralegal careers are made. You don't no longer need someone to go through the document and take notes and give you notes, right? AI can read very quickly and summarize information. We've known that for a while. And businesses that are trimming the fat are going to save a lot of time using that. Customer service, KPMG, the Quad to 276,000 employees. Macquarie absorbed 130,000 hours. Yeah, count your hours. So they're not fully replacing everyone with AI, but customer service, people got questions, and you're seeing it all the time. You've already experienced this. any company, you're going to chat with someone's an AI chatbot, right? That's definitely something that you should look into if you're into businesses. Sales prospecting, email triage. So yes, definitely AI, send out mass prospecting emails to, potential customers. Um, and yeah, so Claude for small business has built-in workflows for QuickBooks, PayPal, HubSpot, Canva, and DocuSign. So getting people to sign up, sign contracts. That's all great because that's saving a lot of time. These routine, repetitive, reviewable stuff, AI works. Emotional, political, unbounded judgment, AI fails, right? Storytelling. If your job's on the first list, the clock is running. So if you feel like you're a cog in the wheel, if you know, yeah, it's pretty simple. It's so yeah, I mean, it's the way this is going to work right now. It's going to be more of the same, and that's what they're actually using for. But let's talk about what they want to use them for down the road, which is agents, right? And so you're seeing a lot of stuff about agents, but right now, I looked into it to see if agents are actually applicable. They're like children. I mean, they're not very smart, and that's my opinion, right? They're not very smart, but that's what everyone wants, right? So actually, that's where the race is. So you've got your automated processes, but your agents, are going to be like more specifically like how you would train an employee. So they're very much more specialized versions of this AI. So before I get into the tools that businesses are already using, so what are people actually using? Like, are they using ChatGPT? Are they using Gemini? Blah, 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 blah. Let's go into the agents deep dive. So we're told that OpenAI launched a 4 billion forward deployed engineer army in May 2026, hiring hundreds of engineers to embed inside of Fortune 500s, deploying agents. Anthropic shipped 10 finance agents specifically built to do first year analyst work. Dell launched desk side agentic AI. Every top gets an AI co-worker. That's awesome. If it works out. ServiceNow roll out autonomous workforce agents with defined IT roles, no human supervisor. So they went through the IT help desk, right? And that's where you're seeing the barriers on the internet break down, which makes a lot of sense. A lot of the IT stuff was just so systemized. It's just humans running the robots, right? You're running the signals, the firewalls, how the actual math is getting translated through the data through your data center from whatever you're doing. If you have a large organization, the security, all that is very mathematical. So that can be fixed, right, with AI, but then the next wave is the agent, right? And so that's what we're seeing there. That makes sense to me. And so, yeah, but in 2026, agents will run your business, right? So you're going to see the sales pitches come before the actual applicable stuff hits in the world of businesses. So, what do people think? 90% of executives think report deploying AI agents in the last year is what they did. 650 enterprise tech leaders said that they're deploying agents in their business, right? But are they actually replacing people? Replacing. Industry survey, 70% of execs expect agents to replace mid-level workers by 2027. That's 70%. Uh, that's an executive expectation. I don't know that they're testing these agents because some of them are dumb. Wall Street is pricing AI infrastructure stocks as if agents will work at scale. Um, but we don't know that yet. Discord, Reddit, pricing, AI communities are split. AGI is here or this is theater. And I gotta say, that's where this is. And if you can't read it, you can't test it, right? Like you need to spend money to test these things. If you're in a smaller business, you can't test an AI agent, and you'd have to hire a developer to test an AI agent within your business, right? To see if it's going to work, to have like basically a parallel test. Like I have this job interview or this job description, I'm going to hire someone, blah, 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 blah. But let's instead teach this robot to do this, right? So you have to go kind of all in on that, in my opinion. That's where the gap is. people are assuming in 12 months they're going to run real business processes and they're going to be in the meeting. It's very possible, but it's a matter of how fast these things learn. And so here's the gap: 78% of enterprises have agent pilots. Only for 14% reach production at scale. So there's a 64% difference there between pilot and production. And of course, people are saying in 12 to 18 months that's going to be reduced, but we need to watch those numbers. So 76% of 845 agent deployments failed in 2026. 88% of organizations running agents reported a confirmed or suspended security incident in the past year. Average cost of a failed agent project is $340,000 in direct engineering spends. Like I said, you would probably need an engineer to manage the agent, right? Or a team of one or two people that kind of can deploy these. Um, yeah, not counting organizational costs or damage. Um, that's because these bigger companies are the ones that are buying that. Now, if you wanted to sell that to a smaller company, you'd really have to know your agent and your bot or whatever your solution is. If you something proprietary, which seems to be the proprietary stuff seems to be coming from, uh, OpenAI directly, right? Because they need to test their own agents, right? So that's where it's at. Agents aren't fully in bloom. 30 to 50% of automation budgets now go to maintaining existing agents instead of building new one. That's very interesting, but that's how that works, right? And so if you're in business and you're looking to build something, you got to just put your money in now, right? But the race is definitely on, but it's still not fully baked. Most agents look perfect in demos. They fail quietly and systemically in the hands of real users in real business operations. I mean, this is kind of like getting your self-driving car, right? Like is it's not always going to be perfect, right? It takes a long time to test that stuff. So, there's so many variables that come about within your day at business. So they look perfect in demos. That's why people want them. They are the shiny object right now. So who spent the most and burned it the fastest on these agent rollouts? Uber, 3.4 billion on AI in 2026. Their entire annual budget burned in 4 months. Claude Code spread across 5,000 Uber engineers. 30%, 32% in February, 84% in March classified as agentic users. Cost per engineer, $150 to $250 a month on average. That's like your Claude. Heavy users, $1,000 a month. ServiceNow has exhausted their token budget with Claude. Anthropic separating Claude agent tools into their own credit meters starting June 15, build at full API rates because no one could predict spend. Claude Code is 10x more expensive per token than any other coding plan. Uh, Biggest spinners aren't ready to admit how much agents actually cost yet. Uh, Here are the problems: 62% of agent failures, authentication issues, API tokens expiring, OAuth refresh, breakdown, services changing, your authorization methods. That is a problem. Only 14.4% of organizations deploy agents with full security IT approval. Most ship before they have governance. So yeah, I mean, that is a big issue, is security. Be interesting to see what people that are in security think about these agents, are that they have to now give you know a green light to go through all their stuff. Five root causes account for 89% of failures: integration complexity with legacy systems, inconsistent output quality at value, absence of monitoring tooling, unclear organizational ownership, insufficient domain training data. Insufficient data. Always want more data. So what does that really mean is, like I said, these things are babies. They're not even toddlers. Maybe they're toddlers. They got to walk before they can run. They're barely walking, right? So, you can't trust them. You can't leave them by themselves. That's kind of how it works. You need to hold their hands when they're crossing the street. Otherwise, they could get hit by a car or do more damage, right? That's what that means. they don't work well with what you already have, which is fair. And so you have to go back to what we talked about at the beginning of this video. And what we talked about there was the other stuff that people are using AI for, which is the simple stuff, the systems and the processes. And so if you want to put this into your business, you need to have a system and a process that you can test an agent on. It needs to be a process that you know is going to last for a long time and that you can continue to test it. You need to have a person assigned to it, right? And so I think the plan is to hire two people, right? Hire an AI prompt engineer, right? And then get the AI and hire your AI agent and pretend they're a real person, and then hire the actual person that's going to do the job, and then figure out if you can, compete them, right? So you kind of want a person to be competing your AI. Otherwise, you're training your employees to use AI, which is very important, and you're having them take detailed notes and records about what they're doing. Now, in 12 to 18 months, is every business going to adopt one of these systems into their business? And that's what they're saying. I'm saying no. It depends on how fast AI moves. If it starts to run pretty quickly, and they can get past these problems, which is integration, complexity with legacy systems, uh, like, yeah, I mean, you have a weird CRM, the agent's not going to work there, right? You got HubSpot, it's going to work there. Inconsistent output quality at value can't scale if it's just giving you slop and trash, right? Anyway, so if you can't cover these, is that be able to cover these for these 5 root causes in 12 to 18 months? Are we going to live in a world where one's doing the AI agents? No, I think there's a couple different ones that will come out. Right now, we're seeing just like everyone has their own Siri on their own website, right? But the problem is, ask Gemini or ask, this, or your iPhone Siri, which is going to, or your Siri AI, which is going to come out. It's only going to do the basic stuff, right? So, what I'm saying right now is there's basic stuff and then there's agentic AI, but we're not in the world of AI agents yet. That might take two years. It says 12 to 18 months. I'm saying 24, probably before mass adoption. And at that point, are people going to have lost their jobs enough? Not, it's not going to be like that. I think what's going to happen is you're going to have to work with your AI now, your AI assistant. So what people should do is not try to replace their core employees, but teach their employees how to use AI with their processes, essentially creating two junior level roles, right? Yeah, your senior levels who manage the people, manage the AI that the people work, look over some things, right? So, is it a total loss? No. Let's talk about the real world disasters, though. Um, Replit AI coding agent wiped an entire production database during an active code action freeze. Um, in December 25th to February 25th, a single attacker used Claude and GPT-4 to breach 9 Mexican government agencies, 195 million taxpayer records, 220 million civil records, 150 gigabytes of data stolen. That's good if you want to be a scammer. But governments aren't that hard to hack if you're a good hacker. And I have a lot of hacker friends that know that. So, attackers compromised step finance. So now you're seeing low level hackers using these to become high level hackers, looks like. AI trading agents, which execute permissions, move 27 to 30 million in tokens before any human approval gate triggered. So crypto, yeah, that's fair. Team PCP supply, I don't know why they named themselves that, cascaded through light LLMs, CI/CD pipeline, broader AI agent ecosystem compromised. So yeah, these are just, attacks, AI incident, uh, failures, prompt injection rising past 18%, tool miscue cascades are the fastest growing. I don't know what that was. So yeah, real world problems are breaches. So your AI is fine, but is someone able to hack into your agent and to control your AI? Probably not, but maybe in 12 to 18 months, that's something people can do. Can they get into your wallet, take your money? Uh, Probably, I would say that's the last thing that will ever happen, and should if you're, you know, marrying this world of AI stuff is can they get into your wallet? Really honest verdict after going through this research is you can't replace your business with AI agents. Today, the data is not conclusive. What we're looking at is the 70-30% split is humans are probably going to be doing, our robots might do 70%, but humans take them the final 30%. And that final 30% is just logic that the AIs don't use. I mean, I'm talking to a few different AIs right now and trying to get them to do stuff that doesn't have errors, or they don't lie about, or they don't use terms that don't make sense, or are they research the wrong stuff and they try to give me too much, right, when I didn't ask for that, right? And it's a constant battle, and these things literally admit that they lie. And so there's two types of people: people that believe what they say, are people that assume that these AIs are lying to them and actually incapable toddlers. And I'm the second person, that I'm seeing the way these things are creating what I'm trying to get to create, and they're terribly efficient, and there's a promise, right, that exists, or they're more efficient, and beautiful, perfect, shiny machines, right? Your little hologram person that you get to talk to, and they're just making your life so much better, and it's helping me figure out what supplements to take. It's helping you go through, like, your schedule and schedule things and connect you. But really, like, I would love for mine to clear out my inbox, but is it going to be able to find all the stuff that I would actually think is important? Like, I wanted to just like clear out my inbox. I got 10,000 emails, like, and don't ask me what, but I do a lot of research. So get all those emails out of there and find the most important thing right now. Is it going to be able to do that all at once? And the answer is no. You're going to have to hold its hand through it. So now I have to do an extra task of clearing my emails out because this AI has failed. So that 30%, even if you're getting an extra 10% of output, you still have to manage these robots, and the agents work in narrow lanes. So, you want to build an agent or something that's for something in your life that you can systemize, meaning that you don't even have to worry about it. Downloading and uploading stuff. Like, I just need to get photos from my iPhone to my computer. I still have to upload that stuff, right? Maybe I can have it organize all my stuff into a file on my desktop, but I still have to download the right stuff from the internet, right? Like, I would love for AIs just go and get a bunch of stock footage for me and my video editing projects, so that it can have, just like, I can have a library of stock stuff, and it is just going to go all day and look at this stock footage for me and decide what stuff I can use, what stuff isn't good. But there's a big gap there, right? So anything requiring judgment, relationships, accountability, humans will be fine for a while. The agent revolution is starting. It's not ready for the masses. Maybe 5 years. That's what it will be. And again, we're gonna see a lot of things melting really fast. Now, I think AI is moving fast, but I don't think it's going as fast as we actually think. But one thing I do know is that if you're not using AI to replace yourself or to figure out what it's good at, you're going to fall behind, because someone's going to figure something out and they're going to now sell you something that, hey, is this AI good at this? And you're going to say, this is the best thing. So what you're going to see next in the next 12 months is people promising, hey, I got this AI for this, or I made this AI for this. And there's two types of people. There's people that just accept it, use it, and then the issues happen, right? The person gave you an AI and you gave that AI that they gave you access to something that it shouldn't have gotten, right? And so, there's issues, right? So you can't trust this stuff at all, right? You have to look into it and do the research. We're going to cover more of the problems that these companies have. Um, but again, right now, I think this is pretty comprehensive for you to understand. I would try to deploy an agent. I'm going to look into that next to see some of the safest agents that happen to be usable for businesses. Um, I'm building stuff right now. I'm building tools, and the biggest issue that I'm having right now is an application to where I can hand that over to someone where it doesn't require much training. So if I can hand you over a tool, once marketers start to get that going, that will be really nice. Um, but we're not fully there. Now, how fast are we going to move? People think we're moving too fast. So people think, oh, yeah, well, a conservative estimate, right, for 12 months maybe is 6 months. That's it just depends on what you actually think can be accomplished. And you have to follow this stuff. What's Claude doing, Anthropic, what's OpenAI doing right now. And so if you got any topics, send them to me. I like the amount of research that I've done for this, but it's just opened so many other questions in my mind as well as we go. So that has been today's briefing.